Mic check. Here we go. Oh, we got to turn off the good vibes music. Hi. Hi, welcome. We're going to get started because we have a jam-packed agenda. Jam-packed. And a few cancellations. Nubia is not here, is she? She is not here. No. Okay, so we don't have an update for the bylaws subcommittee. I'm just going to do some quick introductions. My name's Robin Chen. I'm the CAC chair. We have Diana Rodriguez right there. She is our vice chair. We have Danny is our historian. We have Jennifer Dillon, who is our secretary, newly elected, and we have Jude Nguyen, who is our communications chair. There we go. And district staff in the room, maybe more district staff than not district staff. Do you want to introduce?
Hi, good evening, everyone. I'm Mibruna Laskar. I am your SELPA director for the district. In the back, I have Dr. Sosa Valderrama, who is our assistant soup of the Office of School Support Services. I have Dr. Lashandra Prelo. She is our director of special education. And then I have our two program administrators here, Miss Susie Caskey. She is our SELPA program admin. And then Miss Erica Sarabia. She is our special education program admin. And then way in the back, we have Ms. Pilar, who is our director of secondary schools. And then we have Melissa Stark, who is our program specialist for the Office of Inclusion and Special Education. And then also sprinkled around, we have some of our special ed administrators. Who am I missing? I cannot see. Oh, and then our inclusion coaches, Mix Rexroad, Mr. David Klein, who is one of our special ed administrators, Mr. Ken Owens, who is manning our Zoom. Did I miss? And Miss Courtney, who will be presenting tonight. I think that's everyone. And just a quick, where's Kelsey? Kelsey, oh, and Miss Kelsey Cooper. So just some quick logistics about the Zoom. If you are logged into the YouTube and you need translation, we have Spanish and Khmer translation available on the Zoom links that were emailed and texted to you when you received the reminder for this meeting with the YouTube link. So we have translation available in Spanish and also in Khmer on the Zoom links. And then we will be broadcasting this meeting right around 7. We are going to break out into small group. So once we break off into small group cohorts, we will no longer be live streaming. So just a heads up that around 7:15, we will no longer be live streaming. If you still want to participate in the action, you have time to come down here. We are at Browning High School, and we would love to have you in person if you would like to participate in the small group table discussions that we will be having after the main meeting presentation. All right, thank you for being here.
Thank you. Okay, so we do not have a bylaws subcommittee update, but what I do have is Ms. Gretchen from the Citizens Advisory on Disability for the City of Long Beach. She's going to talk to us about a survey the city is doing. So please, welcome Ms. Gretchen.
Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me? Great, cool. Let me get my notes, because this white hair doesn't come without its consequences. So, I'm Gretchen Swanson. I serve on the City of Long Beach's Citizens Advisory Commission on Disability. It's one of the oldest commissions in the city. I'm going to be terming out in a couple of years. I serve this year as chair. Here's the deal. You all are very much involved with communities of disability here in the city of Long Beach. That's like a no-brainer because you were all introduced, and I got that. And that's why we want to be here with you. Based on the last census, U.S. census, we have more than 45,000 persons here in the city of Long Beach that identify as having a disability. That's a lot of people. That's the number. What we don't have in the city is their lived experience. We don't know the groups of people, the types of issues that they have, and so when the city wants to be inclusive, based on their Values Act, we don't have that type of data. And your communities could really, really, can I say that again? Really help us. We're not talking about large numbers, we're talking about extent of the universe. So, this is the first ever. So why there may not have been policies or programs that were sensitive or focused on communities that you serve, is because the city largely does not know. Now, we could go back and forth on that, which is what my job is, but the idea is to get the fuel so we could activate better relations, better support, better functioning. Okay, here's the deal. First ever survey, it takes a little bit because you're going to talk about lived experience. Now, how many of you know persons with disabilities? Okay, everybody. In fact, tons of people. So I expect a big bump this evening when you go home or tomorrow or the next day to get people. Many people need a little not guidance, but a little bit of oomph, because it takes about 15, 20 minutes to get through. Okay? That's not like a yes-no survey. We want to know detail, how the universe affects their functioning. Okay, who can take this? Well, anybody can take it, but they won't use it unless, one, you live, work, play, go to school, hang out in bars in Long Beach. So anyone that comes into our community we want, okay? It's not age dependent. The second is you need to have a disability. Okay, what does that mean? That's a big thing. I've learned more in the last 2.5 months going around what people think disability is here in the city of Long Beach. We are using a common definition of a condition that affects one or more parts of your daily life. You decide. It's not a medical designation, it's not a legal definition. It's you decide some part of your life is affected, everyday life. And then, of course, you hang out in Long Beach. That's what we want to know. Here's the thing. Some people look at me and it's like, so, how did you get to be on the Commission on Disability? And what are they assuming? A, that I don't have because it's not visible. That's a whole group of people, and that you're going to be learning about as you go forward here. So, people who don't have a disability. I didn't walk in with my walking stick tonight, mostly because I forgot it, but I am one of those classic aging into disability people. I've been here long enough that I'm going to acquire disabilities. But there are many others. There's the mobility, people who use wheelchairs, canes, walkers, okay. But there's also other mobility issues, and you wonder why they get those handicap decals. Well, they may not have the respiratory capacity to walk from wherever to wherever, so they get access to that. That's the kind of information we need. People with chronic pain, people with psychiatric and psychological conditions that affect their everyday life. People on the neurodivergent spectrum. Now, that statistic is pretty overwhelming because according to national statistics, I'm sorry, I have a dry mouth syndrome. There is 10% of our population in general that has autism. Well, 10% of 500,000 people in Long Beach, that's more than identified in our census. That's 50,000 people. These are big numbers. It's not a small group, and we don't want them marginalized because people don't know about them, they don't understand them, or they want to hide it. So, oh my gosh, that is fabulous. All right. Have I answered all the key questions? You can take it, you can help others take it, you can help a lot of other people take it. We have teams of people. If you want groups that we have an intern program working with us to come out and work with a group because it takes some time. You're going to get this on the way out, and it's going to give you the number in the email, and we're going to be there because this is what we want. It's not, you're not, I'm a volunteer. You can't, I don't get paid more for doing this. I did get that bottle of water, and that should be noted. Okay, so the info sheets are in Spanish, Tagalog, and Cambodian on one side, and English on all the others. So you'll get 2 languages on any of these. If you go to the QR code, it'll take you right to the main place, and you can go right online and start filling it out in any of those 4 languages. You can stop because you got tired because someone, cooked dinner and you wanted to eat it, then you go back to it. As an instructor or facilitator, you can do multiple completed surveys on the same smartphone. Can you help somebody? The answer is yes. It'll ask you, if the person needed assistance. That would be great. Did I speak too fast for the translator? I get excited and it goes downhill. Any questions? Because I'm out of here, okay? Because you have a big session this evening, which is really, really, really important, right? Okay. So how many people know someone that has a disability? Okay, that's all I want to know. Thank you so much, Robin, for letting me take some of your time.
Thanks. That's awesome. And Miss Gretchen is going to be here for a little while, so if anybody wants a flyer, come and grab it, or give her a shout. Okay, we're going to start with our main presentation. I am so excited. So you guys know that it's April. You know what happens in April? People who love autistic people get really scared because there's a lot of well-intentioned bad actors out there. So I wanted to do something different, and so we have a presentation about this is kind of like what to me is at the heart of autism acceptance, whatever the words are now. So I'm going to introduce Ms. Courtney Zbrowski and Ms. Hannah Gardner. Thank you.
All right, everyone. We're extremely excited tonight to not only uplift our autism acceptance and pride, but also all neurodivergence, not all, but we want to uplift it all. But tonight we're going to be talking about lots of neurodivergence. So if you aren't in our autistic community, that's okay. We are going to be talking about lots of different neurodivergence tonight. So I am Courtney Zbrowski. I'm one of the inclusion coaches who gets to train and talk to folks in LBUSD about disability. And I have a very special guest, one of our former LBUSD graduates, Hannah. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi. My name is Hannah. I went to Los Cerritos Elementary, then Longfellow Elementary, then Hughes Middle School, then Poly High School, and then I went to college. Yay! Thank you. It was hard. And now I am working in the professional world. And I also am someone who is on the autism spectrum. I am autistic, so I'm here to hang out with you guys.
Thank you. Yes, very excited to have Hannah. So we wanted to make sure that we are uplifting our neurodivergence as well as talking about some different practices. So equipping you with some practices that you can bring back to your IEP team, ask to your teachers about. So we're really going to be shifting some of that tonight. If you were with us last month, you saw this image, and we were really focused on that poster in the middle that says nothing about us without us. And that's where we talked about our student-centered IEPs. And that's where you as family members and our students are really the center of the IEP. But tonight we wanted to uplift the two outside posters that say, I'm not a puzzle piece, I'm a person. And Autism Speaks does not speak for me. And we just want to talk a second about how some of our disability folks see that as, I need a cure, or that I need to be fixed, or that I am forever a child with this puzzle piece. And we wanted to just affirm that in LBUSD, we see disability as pride, especially autism. We do not feel that disability is a burden or that we fear disability. We don't think that people without disabilities are any better than those with disabilities, and that we really can learn from each other. So we wanted to uplift that. Is there anything else you wanted to say about that?
So, nothing about us without us, centering disabled people and people in the disability community within the important decisions that have to be made for that community. And then also the puzzle piece. I am not a big fan of that personally. I feel like it reminds me of when I was a kid, of sitting on one of those preschool carpets where all the different carpets were different colors. It's very like juvenile, and it's not something that a lot of autistic people claim. So I prefer the rainbow infinity symbol. I also think it looks cooler and makes for a better decal on your car.
And this is why we have Hannah here. So we wanted to make sure we took a second and shared with you what we have been training all of our LBUSD staff with as far as language that we are shifting. But first, we wanted to make sure we talked a little bit about disclosure. Is there anything you want to say about disclosure?
In addition to this disclosure, especially because we're all on YouTube now, somehow, wherever the cameras are. So we definitely want to make it a practice that we don't mention our kids by name, we don't identify their school or teacher, just unless you have their explicit consent. It's not our job to tell everybody their business.
And tonight we will be talking a little bit about disability, so just be careful. But we just want to make sure that we discuss that. Oh, it'd help if I turn it on, that's why. Okay. Here's our asset-based language. So in the yellow here, this is the language we're working with our LBUSD staff on what we're moving away from, what we're reconsidering. And then in the blue, this is our asset-based language. So Hannah's gonna start us off with the him, her only, boys and girls, and the folks.
Yes, and I think that this is a shift that a lot of people have been making, not just people that support disabled people or in the community, but there are so many neurodivergent people who identify as non-binary or maybe just experience gender in a different way. So by using they, them, folks, students, even like you guys is pretty gender neutral. It feels a lot more comfortable for some people that have different identities.
So we're really working with our teachers on that. In addition to that, number 2, SPED. That is something that we're supporting our teams with, where when we say SPED, we're losing the human. We're losing the identity. So you'll see on the right-hand side that there are students, and they might just receive some services. So really helping our teams to understand. Some are calling themselves inclusion departments or inclusion, but really just helping to understand that maybe even inclusion's not enough. We really need to just belong. So helping our staff with that. As far as special needs, what do you have to say about that?
Why are they special? Like, it's just needs. It's just needs. And also, everybody has unique needs, regardless of whether or not you are disabled. So it just feels icky. I think it's associated with a lot of degradation of people. So we're kind of not doing that as much.
Then as far as some learning with our teachers, I know I was trained, and my fellow teachers in the room can raise their hand that they were probably trained, that it's person first language. It's a person with autism. But we are learning more about disability as a culture. So a lot of folks are going, I am autistic, I am disabled, right? So we're training our teams that it's up to you as a family, and it's up to your child. So if you want that person first language, then you tell us. If you want to go by autistic, you tell us. I am deaf, so you tell us our preferred, or you just don't want to talk about it at all. I just have some skills that I need some support with. So that's what our teachers are being trained on. As far as the significantly below or not at grade level, as a teacher, that doesn't help me. I don't know what that means. I don't know what I'm supposed to be supporting different skills with. So instead of far below in reading, the student needs support with digraphs. They need support with phonemes. They need support with multisyllabic words. That tells me what I need to teach, not that they're far below. So really helping our teachers understand the specific skills. Anything you want to say to those? I'm good. I did it. Yeah, I got the Hannah approval. And then as far as our nonverbal or non-responsive, we have a huge group who communicates differently. They are communicating to us through gestures. They're communicating with us through their AAC devices. So we also have our non-speaking. We've been learning about situational mutism. So Greta Thunberg talks about how sometimes I just don't have anything to say to you because you need to do better, right? So that's our number 5. And then number 6, this is the one that I need to do much better in. So as a middle school teacher, I thought my young people were just pushing my buttons on purpose. They were disruptive, you know? But realistically, when I was just compliant, you need to sit still, you need to do what I say, I'm in charge, I was by no means understanding their stress response. They were actually in a survival state, an emotional state, and I needed to co-regulate with them and provide them their coping strategies in order to de-escalate and see them really as a human. And I needed to have done better. So anything you want to say to that one?
When we're feeling a lot of really big emotions in our bodies, talking doesn't always work. I don't know if any of you have ever been really upset and somebody is just trying to like talk you through it and you're like, no, not right now. It's just too much. So being able to bring down the feelings in the body, being able to regulate, going into that sensory space, and does it need to be quiet, or do I need to smell something that might kind of let me focus? Whatever it is, that is so much more helpful to have before being able to discuss things if the person wants to.
So we just want to give you a second at your table to talk about this language. What is some language that maybe you're reconsidering? Maybe you want your IEP team to reconsider. Maybe this is some language you're taking to the IEP and you're saying, you know, I learned about this in CAC and I heard that, you know, your district is really supportive of this. Can we make this a norm? So we want to give you an opportunity to talk at your table about this language. All right, we're going to bring you back in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. So I am super excited to hear some of you said, show me that slide in the packet. I'm taking it to my IEP next week. So very excited to hear that. Please utilize it. So when we're thinking about disability pride, yes, thank you. We are prideful of disability in LBUSD. However, we want to acknowledge that disability is hard, and society has made it tremendously hard. And our kids have to survive, and it's not easy. So we do want to make sure that we're mindful of that, but we also want to take a second and just reimagine. We want to think about our students don't, I stole this from you. Our students don't owe us remarkability, but they can be remarkable. And I especially see that when I'm walking down the hallways and I'm seeing neurodiversity celebrations and I'm seeing all these famous people. And I hope that our kids don't think, I have to be them to be okay with my disability. I can just be human. So we want to make sure that we keep that on the top of mind, as well as just disability is a natural variation. It's necessary because I need my folks with disabilities who I work with, who bring to the table the things that I can't do, and vice versa. So right now what we're going to do is we're going to take a second and just dream. What do we wish doctors, school psychologists, teachers, principals, families, society thought about autism as far as pride? So what is our pride and assets about autism?
There are so many cool things. There are so many cool things about being autistic. It's not easy, like Courtney mentioned, and we're going to talk about that too, but there are also so many amazing things about being on the spectrum. There are so many autistic people that are scientists, that are able to take their very niche hyperfixation that they could literally spend every hour of their waking time thinking and talking about, and they make that their career. And there are so many disabled people who are artists. So you don't have to be extra super special and cool to feel good about being disabled, but there are also things about being disabled that are extra cool. So it's a balance of celebrating while also acknowledging that you don't owe that to anybody. But you are cool, and you do have cool things about you, and we want to uplift that.
And then I'm going to invite Angie to come on up. She's one of my inclusion coaches, and she's really supportive of our functional academics program, so our moderate severe program, success, specialized healthcare. So she's going to talk a little bit about our pride with intellectual disability and non-speaking.
Okay, so I'm here to represent those students who you described in the functional academics classes, the students who might have an eligibility area of intellectual disability, our non-speaking population, and then I've also served the specialized healthcare population. So I want us to think about these students with probably who we would consider the most profound challenges in their day-to-day life, especially the most profound challenges to inclusive opportunities. These are the students who are most frequently excluded and stigmatized, right? Because they may present differently. They may speak or not speak in ways that are hard to understand. They may learn differently. It could take a lot longer for my students to make progress. And I'm not here to say that that's not the reality or the lived experience of these students. This is absolutely true. But I want us to remember that my students have incredible potential and possibilities. They do make progress, absolutely. When we see and respect and provide my students with like a secure environment, it's kind of amazing what kind of progress they can make. They can come up with flexible and unique ways of communicating with interpreting the curriculum. But I think a bigger thing to be proud of is that when we make sure that our spaces, our campuses are inclusive and that these students are included in planning, that they have a bigger ability, a bigger possibility. They have the ability to kind of reshape the setting to make sure that all students are then accepted and included. So just considering the abilities of my students. I think that the potential is kind of limitless, and just make sure that we're always advocating to make sure that when we are talking about inclusion, we're also including them as well.
Thank you, Angie. Absolutely. And then as Melissa's coming up to talk more about specific learning disability, just really noting that our students who have more challenges thrive on those routines and procedures, right? So those occupations where there is that routine and the procedure is really where they can thrive. And then our students who communicate differently usually have that heightened visual and spatial awareness. But Melissa's going to talk to us a little bit more about specific learning disability, dyslexia, dyscalculia, and dyspraxia. What are some of the pride?
Thank you. Oh, wow, claps, thank you. So learning disabilities account for a lot of our students who have IEPs, and it is hard to have a learning disability, and it is hard to go to school in our system when you have a learning disability, because it is not always built for individuals with disabilities. So for students who have learning disabilities, what research has shown is that they have a lot of grit and determination, because they have to continually show up and keep going and keep trying and adapt and learn a lot of skills that help them be very successful. So individuals who have learning disabilities are often the leaders in our world. They're often our architects, they're often our bosses. And so something, no offense to any of my bosses in the room, but no. Yeah, everyone's looking at me like, what are you? No, but they are often the leaders, and they learn a lot through managing our system. And then, okay. And also individuals specifically who have dyslexia, dyscalculia, dysgraphia show a lot of problem-solving skills, are empathetic, and very creative and innovative thinkers. They're very out of the box. Their brain processes information differently, and through that process, they're able to think differently, and they're often described as big picture thinkers. And I just read something in Psychology Today that stated that dyslexia specifically is increasingly being referenced as a cognitive style with strengths and not just a disability. So really rethinking how just because somebody processes information differently doesn't necessarily mean it's a deficit, but it is just a different way of processing and experiencing the world.
Thank you, Melissa. And as Dr. Finn comes up, Dr. Finn has been a great new addition as an inclusion coach in our office. Just thinking about, as we're noting all these strengths and pride, what if those were our IEP goals? What if we wrote IEP goals based off of these strengths versus just the areas that we need to grow in? So keeping that in mind. Dr. Finn, can you talk a little bit about ADHD and emotional disability and our pride with that?
Yes, I will. So because I've learned from my teammates that stories are so powerful, I'm not going to tell you the whole story of the straight A student, but I'm going to give you a little timeline. So in early childhood, acute anxiety, and some of this may be comorbid with ADHD or emotional disability. Described as, thank you, I appreciate that, described as verbally aggressive in elementary and middle school. This is something we often hear with our students with emotional disability, sometimes ADHD. Antagonistic with authority. This was my favorite in high school. Later, these are all the A's, again, straight A's. The ADHD, formerly known as the ADD-ADHD combo. And finally, Asperger's, the autism formerly known as Asperger's. So let's look at each of these really quickly. what I wish people would know about or say about acute anxiety. I would say keenly aware of safe places and people. Keenly aware, so pay attention to that. The next one, verbally aggressive. I would describe, I would say that expletives may be a coping mechanism and that journaling may help instead of saying those out loud. Also outspoken and unafraid. Antagonistic with authority. I'd say social justice oriented. And the ADD ADHD combo, I would say that people with ADHD do not have problems paying attention. They pay attention to everything. They also have the capacity to be hyper-focused on interests and to disengage otherwise when something is not of interest. They need and benefit from encouragement and mentors. And finally, that anxiety, ADHD, emotional disorders may be symptoms of autism in girls. It's nice to connect the dots. I hope that people know that masking is exhausting and helpful to talk about and make sense of, and that it is not our place to threaten anyone's ability to love themselves. And so it is our job to lift them up. I hope that that was helpful. Thank you.
These are my fellow inclusion warriors, so thank you so much for all of you and helping with that. Okay, I'm a teacher. It's teaching time. You get to be students. So if you have a pen and a blank paper, if not, Dr. Perucio back there and Jinky have pens that they can come hand out. So just raise your hand if you need a pen. What I want you to do is number 1 through 5, anywhere. You don't need much space. Look at Jinky come all the way to the front. Look at her come. All right, 1 through 5. So number 1, and again, I'm a UDL teacher, a Universal Design for Learning teacher, so feel free to draw, feel free to just tell your partner if you don't want to write, that's fine, but I want to let you have the option. So for number 1, next to it, please write or draw a curb. You know, when you walk on a curb and then that cut, that when you are going to cross the street and get off the curb, please draw or write curb cut. So again, there are cars and then we walk on the sidewalk and there's that curb, right? And instead of us having to jump down, there is a cut that we walk down. So I gave you number 1. Don't laugh at his drawing, it's fine. I'm back in the middle school class. This is exactly what happened. All right, number 2. If any of these apply to you, please write it down. Does your child, are they told to have quiet hands? Are they told to sit still? Are they told to be quiet? Are they told don't disrupt others? Maybe just write 1. If that, I saw heads nod the entire time. Just one. And if none of that applies to your child, just write 1 that you're familiar with. You can draw it as well. All right, number 3. Is your child told they must write 5 paragraphs or they must write a whole paragraph? Is your child told that they must take notes in class? Is your child told to sit quietly or write their response? They can only write it. Are they told that they must solve a problem one way? Write down any of those that apply to you and your child, and if not, which one do you know or are familiar with? Number 4, If your child has any one of our disabilities here, autism, ADHD, dyslexia, processing, emotional disability, non-speaking, or intellectual disability, write one of those down. If they don't, then you can just write one that you're familiar with. And then number 5. Would your child benefit from pacing in the back of the classroom? Would your child benefit from a fidget? Would your child benefit from a connection from an adult? Would your child benefit from, I just need to teach you an explicit skill? Focusing on their strengths, focusing on their leadership opportunities. Write down any of those that might benefit your child. Okie dokie. You all already know disability language. So next to number 1 with that curb cut, that is the social model of disability. That is where we change the environment and it helps everybody. So that curb cut, people with strollers, people who have knee stuff, whatever it might be, will all benefit from that cut. I also think of those beach mats. If you're a beach person, you know those mats that they have now for wheelchairs? Everybody uses it, whether they have a disability or not, right? So that's the social model. That is where we change the environment and it benefits everybody. Then we have number 2 is masking. That's when we're forcing what Dr. Finn was talking about, when we're forcing kids to hide their disability. Anything you want to say about masking or not yet? We're good. Okay, we'll talk about some myths about masking in a little bit. Next is our neuronormativity. So that is these rules. Oh my gosh, friends. When I was an MM teacher, you had to have all these rules before I let you go to general education. You had to write 5 paragraphs, you had to take notes, you had to sit still, you couldn't blurt out, you needed to not disrupt others, but all of those were neuronormative rules that were made up. No standard says you have to write 5 paragraphs. No standard says you need to take notes. No standard says you have to sit. So these are all neuronormative rules that we've made up. That number 4, that's neurodivergence. So those are those invisible disabilities that we don't always see and aren't apparent to us. And then we have our neuro-affirming practices. So that's what we're going to be really focusing on tonight. And that's where we're going to break up into different groups to focus on your child specifically, what different approaches and supports are going to benefit them that are neuro-affirming or neurodiversity affirming. So neurodivergent means you diverge from the norm. Neurodiversity means we're all neurodiverse and we all benefit from all things. Anything you want to say about any of those? Cool, do it.
Thank you so much, whoever did that. I think that a lot of people, when they hear these things, are like, yeah, that's great, but I want my kid to be successful in the workplace if that's where they want to go. I want my kid to be able to go to college. I want my kid to have friends, all these different things. And I just want to say that, like, real world concerns are valid. However, in the real world, we have the ADA. In the real world, you don't necessarily have to write 5 paragraphs. When was the last time your boss asked you to write 5 paragraphs, 3 sentences each? It has not happened to me. So even though we want to acknowledge that it's not always that easy as just be neuro-affirming, we should also acknowledge that legally disabled people have protections, that socially they deserve to be supported, that just because something is the norm doesn't mean that's what's right. Yeah, that's what I had to say about that.
So just a couple things. Yeah, give it to her. We had her present to our RSP teachers, K through 5, and folks, you should have seen it when she said, you know what? In the real world, at my college, in my lecture hall, I got to pace in the back. In my job, I go twice a week, and I'm in a cubicle, so I get to do my thing, whatever that might be, right? So we kind of got to say, things have changed, which is so nice to be more neuro-affirming. Something that we've been helping neurotypicals understand with masking, that remember the first time you learned to drive, right? Little anxiety-ridden, not sure what all the things do. What if you were told that you then need to learn calculus at the same time? And you're going to get a test, and you better do well on it. So when we're asking kids to mask, that is what we're doing. We're asking them to just focus on paying attention, and they're not getting any learning. So I was just in a classroom today, and so we had our students who came in the back, and we were just doing calf raises during the lecture, right? Lecture, direct instruction, right? So it's okay. We don't need to force them to mask and to look like everybody else because they're not learning. So we really need to unmask. So that is what we have for that. Now we want to just, before we break up into groups, talk about a little disability myth, some disability myths. So folks with disabilities, they just need to try harder. That's the myth. Instead, folks with disabilities have a brain or a body difference. So as a misconception to a lot of teachers who don't have disabilities, we need them to understand that it's not that our students just need to try harder and we need to throw down the hammer harder. That's not it. We need to change our environment and our instruction. For our second one, we have students must mask to hide their disability. And instead, we need to destigmatize disability difference and understand why some skills are hard. So for this one, we do want to take a second and note that our BIPOC autistic folks have to survive, and they are often marginalized in our daily world. So 100% we don't want to minimize that. We can just unmask freely. Folks with disabilities have told me, I have to mask in the airport, right? TSA is not going to be okay with me unmasking. So there are certain places where I have to mask, but when I need to learn to mask, I'm going to do that in isolation, where I can just learn calculus, not learn to drive and do calculus, right? Anything you want to say to that?
Masking is a skill. It's important for safety sometimes. You don't want TSA to look at you funny, and they will. And people need to be safe in interactions with law enforcement. People need to be able to express themselves if there's a medical need or a medical emergency, even if that's not verbally. And job interviews is another one where it's a little less high stakes, but there are certain situations where it is so important to be able to express yourself in a way that neurotypical people would like. However, is that at your house? Is that when you're trying to learn something? No. So yes, teaching masking is important. I like to think of it like acting. That has really helped me a lot. Of like, this is actually just like pretend, or imagining kind of like a social script for the situation versus like, I need to change myself right now. It's like, no, I just need to pretend that I'm very professional. And that's enough. So unmasking is great, and we should all do that unless there's a safety concern.
And then we have students with disabilities are non-compliant and they're disruptive. That's a myth. Instead, our students just need a connection or something changed in the environment. Oftentimes when my inclusion coaches were asked to go to classrooms and we hear kids humming, it's only bothering the teacher. It's not bothering the students, right? So we really need to understand the different types of stems and the things that are quote unquote disruptive, really noting, is it really bothering all the students? And if it is, then cool, let's find another place in the classroom where they can do that STEM, a safe STEM, right? So that we can make sure that they are able to have that connection and that we're able to get them out of that survival state, that emotional state. Like I said earlier, I need to co-regulate. I'm not just compliance and you need to do what I said when I said it and here's your token. You need to make sure that I am co-regulating with you. And then for our last one, we have Learning, attending, and showing understanding has to look one way as our myth. Instead, teaching and learning can vary, and we can meet the needs of all learners. So I've read in our neurodiversity affirming schools, I don't want quiet hands, I want loud hands, right? Hands are okay, the hand flopping is okay, and we'll find a place where it's okay and safe for them to be doing that. I don't want you to sit still. You can stand in the back, you can pace, you can do the calf raises, you can do whatever it is that you need that is safe. We don't have to sit on the carpet. We can sit in a seat. We can sit in a different seat. We can do what it is that we need to do to attend. So making sure that we are varying our learning and understanding. Anything you want to add?
So I only took one class in college that was in a lecture hall, and I was really scared for that because I was like, I can't just get up when I need to, or so I thought. I have never had so many accommodations for one class before. I was able to pace in the back of the room. I had priority seating in the back of the room, so I would always be in the back corner. I also had breaks during class as needed, which meant at the exact same time every day, I would get up and leave, and I would leave for like 10 minutes, and I would just go in the hallway. Oh my God. And then I would come back. And it was never a problem. It was never a problem for the other students. It was never a problem for the teacher, for my professor. And it was also not a problem for the inclusion staff at my university, who were very willing to work with me and say, we know that you haven't been in a class setting like this ever before because you're a master at avoiding them. And here's how we can support you, and here's how your teachers and fellow students can support you. So it is possible.
All right, so we want to make sure that we are meeting the needs of you and your child. So autism is going to be over here. So if you want to talk about some of those neurodiversity affirming practices for autism, we're going to be here at these two tables. Can I tell them where to go first? Is that okay? Okay. If you are learning more about ADHD and emotional disabilities and executive functioning, that's going to be discussed at this table. If you're going to be doing more about learning disabilities, whether it's dyslexia, dyscalculia, dysgraphia, or just a difficulty in reading, writing, or math, that's going to be over here. And then our last is going to be our intellectual disability, or students who qualify for that alternate diploma. That's our modifications. If you want to learn more about what those supports are, that's going to be at these two tables. Take a break and then move, and yeah.
All right, YouTube, we're going to take a break from you too. I'm sorry. You got to come in person. I don't know where I'm looking. We're going to take a 10-minute break, our legally mandated break, and give you guys a break, take a sip of water. Thank you so much. We'll be back in 10.
Hi. As you all know, I'm Liliana, and I have very important, not announcements, but I would say awareness what's happening to the kids. There's people who want to push back my club about inclusion, all with disabilities, and it's called actually Poder, which in English is actually called power, but it stands for People Against Oppression, Demanding Equality, and Resisting. And I really want this to happen because I want people to be aware of all of the disabilities and just being aware of people around them. And especially hurtful people saying you're sped, you're a sped monkey. People are using the R word, which is can I say it? R word is best. The R word, and like it's really bothering me, where to the point where I'm like, no, I really want this club to happen, but they keep pushing and pushing me away, and like I just feel like very, I would say, not abandoned, but like not heard. It's like very like, it's very gross to me, where I feel invisible, and I don't want to get pushed back all the way where I'm like now an 8th grader and I'm about to graduate to high school, and I kind of just want it now so that people are like aware of all these like stuff that people are like need to know, because it's like really aggressive. People are using those words against other people. They're like, some are like just like saying you're, I can't say it, it's just like too bad. It's like saying like my own disability is bad, and like I have to mask myself for who I am, and I don't want that. I want to be like myself. I want to be weird. I want to be loud. I want to have like pride of who I am. But yeah, so yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, Liliana, for bringing up such important work. I know our district is going to be doing a lot around the N word, but it also means that we need to bring in all the words and the history of those words. So we really appreciate you bringing that to our attention, and you will be a leader in this district, I promise you. Again, we have autism here. We have our ADHD and emotional disability, specific learning disability. And then if a child is receiving modifications, go ahead and join one of our groups.
So what do I just do? Just like, I think it can go with me. Yeah.
What's the teacher thing? All right, everybody. Finish your last thought. What? Give me another one. Oh, I don't. Courtney, are you going to have the meaning make? Are you going to have the meaning make? Or are you done teaching? Okay, are we done? You guys still want to stay in your sections? It's totally fine. Okay. Are we good? Dr. Laskar. Just adding it now. All right. Okay, so what's next? Oh, well, what's next? That's what I want to tell you. It's my Ariana Grande. Is it ready? I feel very weird. No, not that. No, we didn't do Q&A. Not yet. Not public. We're looking for a website page to the district website. Just go to the LB schools and let's search CAC. I want you guys to see, this is what I did all year. We're going to go to lbschools.net. We're going to search CAC. And then, Okay, look at this page. It's on the district website. Keep scrolling. Look at that resources page. Every single meeting we've had this year, you're going to see our minutes or our recap, whatever you want to call it. You're going to see every single slideshow. Oh no. And now we've lost the internet. Every single slideshow for every presentation, any handout we have, and so please check that out. That has the slideshow from today. And apologies if not all the translations are done in time. We are trying our best here. Okay, excellent. And you did put that survey on there? Great. Okay, so what I wanted to do is take just like 3 minutes to talk about next year, okay? We are starting that planning for CAC 2026, 2027. We're starting it now. And I need your guys' input on what you want to do next year. Number one, what do I want to do? I want to get more butts in seats. I need more people in this room. It makes me feel sad. I don't know how we get more people in this room. I need your guys to tell me how we get more people in this room. But also want to know what presentations you want to, what information do you want? What information do you want me to like threaten the district with? What information do you want? Do you want these amazing inclusion coaches to teach us? What information do you need from the district? It's a very tricky time, and there are budget constraints. So, the sky's not the limit here. But so what we did is we made a survey. The city of Long Beach is making a survey. The CAC can make a survey. And you're going to put it up right there? Where are you putting it up? Are you clicking it? Click it. This is going to be on the resources page. We'll probably even text it out. I don't care if you guys get too many announcements from us. It's going to be on Peach Jar, maybe? You guys know about Peach Jar? Everybody knows about Peach Jar. Okay, these are some of the questions. Who is this survey for? It's for everybody. It's for district staff. It's for parents. It's for teachers. It's for students. Liliana Chavez hopefully will fill out this survey. Fill it out, please. We are choosing our calendar in a few weeks. So if you want to see more presentations that didn't just come from my imagination, then you have to fill this out. And this is a district-created survey. It is going to district people. I will not have full access to it. So if you're going to write something personal and private, I won't see it. And then we should probably go to public comment. Unless anybody wants to share what they want to see next year. I'd love to hear some. Just shout it out. Anybody? You like tonight? I think Hannah should be at all of our meetings. I agree. She's very, very, very smart. Okay, I'll take that, Jacinda. Anybody else? Yes. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Sorry, just being more specific to more specific grade levels, maybe like elementary, middle school, and high school, because I guess some topics that we talk about might not pertain to my kindergartner, or how we can relate to those things.
I love it. We do need more. We did have an IEP training for Buffum parents and newbies, so I do feel that strongly. But also, let's break it down into grades. I think that every presentation, though, is important for a kindergarten parent because it's a marathon and you gotta start building that information. So I'm sorry that you're at the beginning of your journey.
No, I was just saying that sometimes it doesn't have to be deal with the school, but just resources that help some of our parents that are here new to this whole situations to better interact with their kids at home.
I don't want anybody telling me what I should do in my home, Jacinda.
Thank you, Robin, and once again, thanks all the school district for being here. As a parent, I would like to see next year, you know, most of the presentation here, I've been attending this for the last 8 years, so I already know what happened. You know, I do, you know, with all this, I can recital for you, I even can do it for you. But what I don't know is why it happened and how to solve it. Looking at, you know, moving forward, we cannot go kindergarten, you know, IEP. We need to be creative, we need to be bold, we need to be champion. Example, you know, AI affecting all students. We don't need another research for that. I'm sure that everybody doing research after research, the same result, you know. But what we gonna do about it? You know, my son, coming at home, I told him, well, you know, you should not use too much screen. Say, Dad, why you tell me, why you don't tell the school? As soon as I go to school, they give me a screen already. And yet, they told me to not using screen. So, you know, I'm sure that all of you are very well educated. You know, LA School District, yesterday, they're going to start giving more paper and more pencil to students now. And I want to see, with all respect to Long Beach Unified School District and with the new coming leader, superintendent, we need to be bold. This is for our kids. We need them to follow us instead we follow them. So in other words, we need to think on the big question, you know. Another example, my son learning history now. And then history, they talk about the great, you know, Lincoln, George Washington, slavery, all those. And yet, he go home, I watch TV. We see on TV all the time what happened to our society right now. We live in fear, we have inflation, we have all of this. So the kid is confused. He asked teacher, said, why history says this and now the new leader here do something different? I want to know. You see, should we hide behind the curtain and be, yes, ma'am, yes, sir? And then should we really confront the truth and teaching the kids the right thing to do? Thank you.
Yeah. I like that. We're doing more disruptors. Hold on, she had her hand up. No fighting, guys. All right.
Okay, so I have 3 things. One would be, I would like to see more like special education teachers come to these meetings. If not every single one of them, at least whenever possible. But I mean, it would be nice to have them here.
How many special ed teachers we got in the room right now? Raise your hand. Oh, it's my inclusion coaches. Okay.
That's not always the case.
It's not, I know.
Okay.
I
All
was
right.
just
Okay.
checking.
And then also, I mean, I know that they mentioned that there's training for the teachers, but if there's, oh, okay. Because sometimes I feel like they need some type of training on like the different diagnoses, you know, just so that they can understand better like our children. So that would be another one. And God, I forgot the third one.
Take the survey. Make sure you take the survey. It'll come back to you. Or you can shout it out in a second. Hold on, I'm ready. Come on. They're going to kick us out.
Okay, really quick. I don't know if we do this, but I'm thinking liaisons for elementary, middle school, and high school. In my experience, I'm seeing a lot of people don't know, even though this has been around for a while. They say they don't know about it. They're not familiar with it. They've never heard of it. And also, I think a lot of teachers need to understand when it comes to, I know we don't like using the word special ed, but what it is. It's not linear. Kind of like they say with autism, it's a sphere. Me as a parent myself, I just realized not too long ago that I have 2 kids who have IEPs, and they're technically fall under the special education realm, which I didn't know that because they're in gen ed. So I think a lot of people don't think, oh, because they have RSP, they're not in gen ed, when they technically are. So I think more, what's the word I'm looking for? Information about it. Maybe that will get more teachers to come out. And like I said, we can have liaisons maybe next year, if that's a possibility, to kind of get the word out. They don't have to be there, but I just think more, not only for new teachers, but teachers who are kind of set in their ways and they don't want to do it, to kind of convince them, hey, this is why this needs to be done, you know, to help out your students and themselves.
Thank you. That's great. I wonder how many parents, and you're not the only one, how many parents have students with IEPs and they don't realize that their student is receiving special ed services. It's hilarious.
I want to add something to her comment. Not only special ed teachers need training, also the regular teachers, they need a lot of training, because there is what's the name of the program? The CCT? There is a CCT program that it's a general ed and a special ed teacher. So I think both of them, they need a lot of training. And also the school psychologist and the evaluator for the triannual, sometimes they ask your child, like, do you help your mom clean? Okay, they do. They say yes. They're not going to say no. They write it down on the evaluation. And then everything you write on an IEP or an evaluation, we share with Regional Center. And that affects our services from the outside. Because I can say my daughter doesn't use diaper in the day, but she does use it in the night. So they see that, oh, your daughter doesn't use diaper no more. So they can cut services. So a lot of, I have to redirect I said, you know what, you put this on there and I want you to remove it, because that's gonna affect my child's services outside the school, because that's what we do outside the school. But I think the teachers, they need to come here. I know they're tired. I'm tired with my kids, you know, and they have more kids in the school. But I think they need training or a school, you know, district money so they can get training. Yeah.
Okay, great. You know, the other thing I wanted to share, I'm so sorry, I forgot. We're going to do public comment because we are legally required to do public comment. After this wonderful neurodiversity presentation, I wanted to share the resources. Thank you. I have done a lot of personal studying. I know a lot about autism and a lot about special education and inclusive practices. It's my special interest. And so I thought that maybe some of you would like some book recommendations. And so we've got books. We also asked Disability Queen Melissa Stark to put some dyslexia resources. Dr. Laskar put some wonderful resources. And Courtney just agreed with all of my choices, so that's all I need. Oh, and I think Hannah included some too. So we've got websites, we've got lots of things. It's going to be on our resources page. Unfortunately, you have to do the work yourself. You have to learn more yourself. The district isn't going to fill all the gaps of what you need to know. I'm still learning every single day, and I feel like I know a lot already, but I still don't know enough. So this is going to be available for you. There's a little blurbs. Let's see if you can tell who wrote the blurbs. And we're going to do public comment, and you're going to talk about public comment.
Oh, yes. So now it's open for public comment. We just want to remind folks that to protect your own personal information, so not name your student or any personal circumstances in the room. But yeah, now the room is open for public comment.
My name is Marcia Miller. I'm the facilitator at Roosevelt Elementary, and I just would like to thank everyone who presented, especially Hannah. Thank you for helping me be a more gentle educator around my special needs students.
I also want to say thank you. I didn't know you were on the spectrum, but you gave me hope, girl.
I was just gonna say that, you know, we have programs that are co-teaching, right? But whenever time that I have a meeting, reflect on just right now, the only ones that talking to me is special ed teachers. The general ed just stay quiet, and I just feel like, is it still like segregated between within the class? You know, so that's something to like talk to them, like talk us hoes in general. You know, whenever time we have meeting.
Thanks for being here. I was wondering if I know we have training for teachers and staff, but is there training for students to be more accepting and like to learn more about neuro-affirming, to become more neuro-affirming? Is there? And can there be?
I just want to say, I don't know if you guys know Nubia from Long Beach Forward. She's having a training, and she's training parents on how to advocate for their children in special needs. So I just want to go ahead and let you guys know if you would like to attend. There is a flyer on the Peach, what's the name of it? Yes, so there is a flyer there if you guys want to attend, and it would be really nice to see you guys there.
Yes, hello. Hello again. I'm going to go up here so you can all see me again. I just want to say thank you for coming tonight and listening to me talk, and everybody else also, but I'm speaking for myself. You know, when I was a kid, I always knew there was something that was not right about me, which is a horrible way to feel about yourself. And now I don't feel that way so much. I feel more like I'm just not like other people, and what's the problem with that? And so it's really nice to be able to do this kind of thing and for people to listen and to say like, oh, I liked hearing you talk. I'm like, thank you. When I was in 6th grade, I would not have thought anyone would think that. So I appreciate you all coming and listening to, you know, I am just one autistic voice. There are so many, but it starts with one, so.
Thank you so much. I'm going to close this meeting 8:01, guys. Our next meeting is May 20th at Browning. Is it the 20th? I think it's May 20th. Thank you. 6 o'clock here at Browning, our last meeting of the year. Please take the survey. Please. Thank you. Thanks, Hannah. Thanks, Courtney.